All right, this is video 3 on facet joint syndrome. I'm Joshua Tucker, the tendonitis expert, and what we're going to do in this video is basically we're going to talk about what's left. Video 1, we talked about what is facet joint syndrome. Video 2, we talked about why does it stay, why do you still have pain? And this is the how-to, although we're going to break this up because there's certain things to do. I'm going to give you a whole program you can do at home by yourself. So it's a little complicated, there's some stuff. So it's not all in this video. Some of it's on the website. Actually, all of it's on the website, and certain parts of it I'm going to make other little videos for, little how-to videos for. So this is essentially a free program. I'm making it available for free because facet joint people are in severe pain, and a lot of times they're just not getting any help at all. So there's content here. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. It will help. Do it. So how to do it. How to get rid of facet joint syndrome, or at least decrease the pain, which is really the same thing. You reduce the mechanism that's compressing, and as you reduce that, the effectiveness to which you do that, your pain will go away. It's that simple. So, on the link below is the facet joint syndrome page. It covers everything in video 1, video 2 in more detail, and it's going to cover how to in greater detail. So we're going to talk about a few things on there. Number 1 is nutrition, specific nutrition. This is the key, it's primary. If you skip this, your recovery will be not as good as it could be, if at all, for various reasons. Remember I said muscles get tight and they have to have certain nutrition to be able to relax. If you don't have that nutrition, your muscles stay tight, facet joint stays compressed. What you gonna do? You're gonna hurt. So nutrition is number 1. You have to do that. It's the base, it's primary. Everything on top of that you'll get more benefit out of if you have the base and nutrition covered. If the muscles can't respond to what you're doing, then they're not going to respond and you're going to be wasting your time, kind of. Maybe you've already had a bunch of massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, a bunch of other things. Maybe it helped for a bit, maybe it made it worse, but it kind of comes back to where you're at now, which is you're stuck in a particular dynamic. So nutrition is key. So we're going to talk about that in greater detail. We're going to talk about a few different topics, one of which is we're going to call expanding breaths, which is your rib cage is supposed to be like a bellows, expand, contract. But as things get tight, it becomes more like an oak barrel. So you're stuck tight. Your ribs are supposed to move out and in, which means your facet joints get some motion as that's breathing. Sternum as well is all supposed to move. As it gets locked down with tightness, that's part of the compressive process. Things get tight, they stay tight. Your facet joints get pressed on 24/7 nonstop. So we're going to perform some specific motions using our expanding rib cage, and then we're going to build on that with a few variations. And that's going to open up this little by little. You don't need big movement. You can't get big movement because these are just little things, little space. But you're going to go from here to here, and that's going to stretch that little bit of tissue. It's going to sponge that little bit of tissue. Old fluid out, new fluid in. Lengthen that little bit of tissue. Give it some space. Get some fluid back in the joint space because it's been compressed, so there's less fluid. So you make some space, you can get some fluid back in there, and then it can get some nutrients and rub around and stuff. When you have arthritis, when you have a little bit of damage in there, that's how you heal it. You create some space, you get some new synovial fluid in there, and that's how it starts to heal. But again, you have to take the tightness away. So we're going to be doing some little movements to show you how to do that. After you do the little movements, then we can move to the bigger movements. But for instance, if you're hurting and you go to yoga right now, maybe it'll help, but there's some downsides. Some people it will help, some people it's not possible because they're so acute, they're so tight, they're so acutely painful that you can't do the big motions. So we're going to bypass that and do some small motions, create some improvement, create decrease in pain, and that allows everything else to work better. And then eventually you can go to the big movements and continue fixing the overall process with yoga, stretching, whatever you want to call it. You got to start small with facet joint syndrome. You got to start small, create benefit, and build on that. And that's what we're going to talk about in the rest of this program. We're going to talk a little bit about massage. If it's neck, easy. Back, obviously harder to do, but we're going to show you some things you can do. Doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of effort, but you're going to be doing this every day, a little bit even, and as you start to notice benefit, you'll do it a little more. The flip side is if you're really acute right now, you can only do so much. You're going to have to do a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit, and eventually be able to do more and more. But depending on how acute you are, if you're in a little bit of pain or you're acute, significant, disabling pain, the activities to fix that are all the same. You're just gonna have to learn what those activities are, start playing around with them, learning them, seeing what happens with them, a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of adaptation as you go. But essentially, you're going to do some things, you're going to get better. It's not rocket science, you just got to do some stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about in the rest of the program. So go to the link below, that's the facet joint syndrome page. Video 1 is talked about, video 2 is talked about, and video 3 is in greater detail with other little videos talking about specific things to visually show you what those things are. I look forward to working with you.